Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of our first series of the evening, where I was just reminded to never take a bite of food right before going live on broadcast. Josh, we got 1-1 on the scoreboard between MU and DSG, and that's a bit of a surprise considering the power level of these teams and expectations coming into the series.
Yep, and that means it is time for our Subway Best of 3 Sidekick, where we need to talk about the cool new champs that we are expected to come out for our third game in the series. And I'm going to start off with my new sidekick first. And the big one that I want to be seeing in particular coming out from Tenacity, I really want to see his Jax in particular. I think I will dub this one the Churro, because it has been something where he has had a lot of tools, and it also matches up really darn well into a lot of the things that we know Niles likes to play in the past. It can struggle into the Gragas, but it also can really punish things that Niles has made a name for himself on, like the Gangplank, the Gnar, and the Camille that we've seen from him in days past.
Now, it was banned against them in that second game when they're on blue side, so it makes me think maybe they just don't trust that it's a blind, or they don't want to give the blind pick opportunity. If we see a pivot in sides, do you still think that it's your Subway sidekick pick?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to see him play it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
what's your first sidekick? I already claimed the Churro.
You already claimed the Churro. All right, I'll go for the Cookie. You know, if we're looking for everyone's favorite length of Cookie, I'm looking at Varus. He's got the range. We didn't see it played in game number 1. It was on the table, but nobody picked it up. We saw it in this last game, but we still have one of the teams that has it available to them, and I still think that it's just such a powerful pick in the lane. And in particular, I just think that if Scary Jerry gets this, he's able to push his lead so much harder than on most other champs. I like his other champs. I still think Azaya is good, but we didn't see the bot lane take over in game 1. Excuse from Senna. Game 2, Xayah Rakan, they couldn't do much with that? Curious. Give Scary Jerry the Varus. That's the Cookie. That's my best of 3 sidekick.
That's pretty funny.
Specifically for MU.
Now, we got one more. I do got to say, the way you said curious made me think of, all those conspiracy TikToks that people are used to saying, we'll see if they're going to be banned in the next couple of months. But curious, the other one, last one we always got to talk about the pretzel. I want to see Young on a Kali. This was the champion that he made a name for himself in 2023. It was one of his best champions. We know that he's so good at playing a lot of melee champions here in the mid lane. The Blog didn't quite make it there. We did see in game 2 that with the Hui, with the Orion. Yeah, he was on the Hui. I'm getting them mixed up. Yep. He looked fine. But the big thing is I want to see an opportunity for Young to actually beat Spyrex resoundingly on his own merits. And if you give him the Akali, there's not a lot of great things that we are used to seeing come out from Spyrex that will really take it down consistently.
Now, I have heard that we have the power to run polls, so this is my challenge. Let's get a poll out and see which Twitch chat thinks is the most impactful Subway best of 3 sidekick. Is it going to be the Varus, the Akali, or the Jax? I said those in reverse order because I forgot what your first one was, but we got there in the end, Josh. So that's our thoughts, but let us know, everybody in chat, who you think is going to be the most impactful champion for either of these teams to focus on going into this next game. A reminder, our best of 3 Subway sidekicks are going to be Jax, Akali, and Varus. Let's take a look at the updated bans from Fearless Draft, though, because there are a couple champions we know will not be on the Rift for each of these teams. Josh, game 1, I asked you the question. I'm going to ask you the same thing here. From the champions available, what do you think are the most impactful ones that are not an option for either of these teams now?
I mean, the big one, Disguise cannot go back to the Smolder. Arguably the best champion in League of Legends right now. Disguise cannot go for it. Maryville can. However, it's not something where you tend to see Maryville go for it nearly as often. It's not really something where you have the same kind of early dominance that Maryville likes playing with on the bottom half of the map. And speaking to that in general, with Azaya also gone, it does mean that Maryville's bottom lane does have to be something a little bit more standard, which makes me think maybe Scary Jerry goes towards like the Callista.
It was also banned in, I think, game 2, maybe
very understandably.
Game 1. Yeah, it's another one of Scary Jerry's best champs. Pretty much anything Scary Jerry can bully you in the lane with, probably don't want to give him that.
There it is.
There it is, yeah, banned away. So if we're looking at the trends, Ashe would be second here. I still like the Varus ban from DSG at this point because Senna is not on the table for MU to take away from you. You don't want to just give that up.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough spot, especially as we start getting towards these third games. In Game 1 and Game 2 of a series, you don't really feel the effects of the Fearless Draft all that much, but by the time you get to Game 3, and by the time you get to Game 5, I have to imagine, is when you're really going to start having to dig deep in the pockets. And Spyrex batting away the Orianna, he got his game of it. Now we're making sure that Disguise will not be able to answer with that at all. And Maryville, they're already setting themselves up for a potential Varus first pick if it's not banned away here.
That's the most common trend that we've seen from Fearless Draft. It's only the first split having it, so we weren't sure what to expect going in, but if you play something, you ban it the next game. Then nobody can have it. And it is that Varus ban, like you had said, so Talia is first pick for MU.
I'm not a huge fan of blind Talia in general. It does stop a lot of champions from being played, but it's got a lot of things that could potentially counterpick into it. Now, I guess the two premier counterpicks into the Talia are already the Orianna, who is banned, and Hui, who is banned from Fearless. So it creates a lot of situations where you have tools to try and shut it down. And with this already picked up, normally you would pair this Karma with a Xin Zhao, but that is also not available. And so it feels as though Maryville going to come up with the Talia plus Vi, most likely. Will have a ton of tools to lock down the mid laner of DSG.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we want to go Karma in the mid lane or Karma support here. It can be flexed around. If it's mid lane, I like things like the Xin Zhao, but that's also off the table. So, I mean, Wukong, Viego, these are options. We're going to go for the Wukong instead. Technically a flex pick. Depending on the matchup, you can still play at top lane, but more than often than not, we're just seeing it go straight into the jungle. So, still unknown where the Karma's going, but it's going to be Yone and Nautilus.
This Yone pick makes me think that the Talia is being flexed. Yuji has been one of our best Talia players in the jungle for a while, but it's nowhere near as popular there as it has been in days of yesteryear. And so it does become a situation where Maryville throwing up these two potentially flexible champions, because Niles can play the Yone, even though it is much more of a Spyrex champion, does set things up for Maryville to react very aggressively to what it is that Disguise is currently doing, because they have picked up Gragas, and Gragas is also technically flexible, but this is probably the most flexible draft we've had from both sides.
Happy to see the Gragas come out for DSG as well. I was considering that for one of my Subway sidekicks, which I believe the poll was live. I don't know if it's still live, so we'll get an update on what Twitch chat's opinion on that was. But, I mean, we just saw Niles have great success with it in that last game. Why not grab it here? I mean, didn't pick up the win, but still, it looked like it was doing all right early on. I still love that non-committal engage.
Yeah. Now, we do see very different priorities, right? You got to take out some of the top laners, the potential solo laners from Maryville to try and force the Yone and Talia into certain positions, where at the same time, we're still trying to figure out exactly where this Karma is going to be going. If you ban away the Nautilus as a counterpick to, ban away the Alistar, you can also ban away something like the Braum here as another good counterpick to the Nautilus, and something that Poom has played very successfully in the past.
Yeah, we could see that. I'm trying to think what the next levels would be. And I'm also still not convinced that it's going to be Karma in the mid lane. I feel like Karma into Yone is a pretty tough matchup for the Karma. You can hit the wave, but you can never really stop the Yone from just killing you once he has the ultimate. So Lucian's actually the ban. I guess Lucian Melio could have been something else that maybe DSG would really dig deep for.
I feel like Aphelios. I mean, we already saw that Disguise was hovering it previously, and it's also something where you do have just a lot of damage to put out. But still, I mean, if you start picking up this Rel at the same time, good counterpick into the Nautilus, you just do a bit more damage, and there's the Braum to come through. Good tools already shutting down the bottom side of the map. And we'll see what else Maryville is going to be doing, because we know that they have to pick something that is ranged for Scary Jerry in order to try and get through, and the Braum does good into all of them.
Yeah, Braum can stop a lot of the single directional damage that Azeri would bring, that Akaisa would bring, but when your job's an 80 carry, you can't really stop that more often than not. But Zeri was banned last time around. I'm trying to wonder, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up what Scary Jerry's win rate on this champion is. I think I just called him Scary Zeri on accident right there. I didn't even intend to do that, but it kind of works. But as we look that up, we also have the Cassante locked in for Niles. That's kind of a counter pick top lane, I suppose, and then with Yone into the Karma mid, we're saving bot lane pick last for Manui.
This is a very interesting spot. It makes me wonder if they were thinking about going for something like a Ziggs, but instead it's going to be the Jinx coming through. And ooh, this is an interesting one, because we now see that Yuji is on the Talia, which means he is the main character of the game. Regardless of what else happens, if Yuji is able to get off the ground, is if he is able to have a couple of successful ganks early on, he is going to be doing so much damage, and there's not a lot that DSG will be able to do to stop him. At the same time, if they don't have anything go off early on in the game, Maryville will transfer the most important character to Minui. He will be looking for these resets. He has the tools to try and pick someone up relatively early on in the fights, and then he can rain havoc. However, it then trades back later in the game to Spyrex becoming the main character, because he is going to be one of our best side laners. And also, exactly. So it starts off with Yuji, then we'll look at Minui, and then later on in the game, Spyrex and Scary Jerry will start to take over when we start getting towards 3 items, because nobody on this team will be able to deal with the Yone.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. We have not seen a Zeri game from Scary Jerry yet this spring split. Part of why I was surprised it was banned, part of why I was surprised it was picked. I don't think of this champ when I think of Scary Jerry, but we'll see if he's able to pull it out here and pick up a win. Backs are a little against the wall now for MU. They were favorites coming into this one of the favorites to make the championship run in spring playoffs. And already they're dropping a game to DSG, and DSG's composition looks fierce. So they can keep this Jinx alive, keep this Jinx safe. Manui's been given the tools yet again. It's not on the Smolder, but it is still that late game carry that can find the resets and win you team fights. Game 3 from MU versus DSG starts now.
Alrighty, we see the disguised fans out in force, already spamming it at 100% so far. Now, I know we got to get a couple Maryville fans in there. Clerky by himself will at least bring that number up. There we go. We're tied for now. But
just got to get a few more subs. You know, everyone's going to start spamming MU though.
Exactly. That's what we're starting to look for. But at the same time, we are getting our first time where we don't actually have a top lane dance-off, Kangas, and that just means that both these teams are here. And this is the thing that always happens in Game 3s. You get players who are going to be a little bit more cautious throughout the course of the game, not trying to be the one that makes a mistake. But then you also have players who say, I'm going to be the one that makes the play that wins the game. And this is a spot where, in particular, Yuji has succeeded. He has been the one who is not afraid in the past of making mistakes, because he is so confident he's not going to.
Part of why we've given him so much props, so much praise, and that early, MVP frontrunner nod. I believe it was UG players like Sturdy were also on that list. A lot of the top players in the league will be announcing the list going forward in the next coming weeks throughout playoffs. But now we'll just. Also, a reminder that end of playoffs does have that live finals here. If you didn't hear at the beginning of the day, we have announced we got a live finals happening. You can go get your tickets right now. Go check out the LCS X account, Twitter account, whatever you want to call it, where you can actually find the link to go check those out. It's only $5, so about as much as a Twitch sub, which also directly supports the players.
Yeah, you don't need that boba today. It's okay. You can just come out and make sure that these players can continue doing what they love. At the same time, we are going to be seeing Disguised. I mean, they're going to be putting a little bit of pressure. They hit level 2 early. This is where we start seeing more of the pressure come through. I gotta say, Kangas, one of the most impressive parts to me about today is how well Minui and Boom have been playing this bot lane 2v2. Scary Jerry and Zyko have been the best by a significant margin in the bottom lane in terms of how much damage they're able to put out, how much priority they're able to get, and how many 2v2s they're able to find. Minui and Boom have had an advantage every single game early on.
Yeah, I mean, I set this up thinking it was going to be a horror movie down there. We got Scary Jerry, we got Psycho Zyko, but it's been more like Dumb and Dumber down there. I mean, they just haven't been picking up the 2v2s that I had promised. Minui and Poom have been stepping up, and it's not for lack of Scary Jerry and Zyko having a game plan. It's just not the game plan that I expected from this 2v2 going into it. As Poom now actually first to roam. He's been on the map so much more than Zyko in the first couple of levels throughout this series, and let's see if we can get anything done here onto Spyrex. Nice dodging out the Mantra Q.
Yeah, and not going to be finding a whole lot there. Poom, absorbs a little bit of the experience here in the mid lane before walking right on back down. But so far, no big advantages. The biggest thing we do see is that up in the top side, the wave is pushed in towards Niles, and he will recover most of that CS deficit momentarily. But with this pause coming through, Angus, we're already starting to look at a spot where I am pretty confident still that Maryville are going to take this series. They have been the perennial favorites, but the big thing that we do need to see from them is we need to make sure that we are not losing some of these early game skirmishes. That's the second game in a row that we had them lose out on some of these skirmishes around the 5-minute mark, and they have been devastating for their chances.
Yeah, it has been rough to see a traditionally powerful early game team struggle sometimes in that early game against DSG right now, but props to DSG. I mean, credit's where it's due. They have been making that comeback that we were teasing, unsure where to really rank them going into playoffs considering the end of the season compared to the beginning of the season, but now they are showing that they can be competitive against these top teams. I want to give more credit because we started talking about it. We have the pause. Let's keep talking about it. Manui and Poom in the bot lane here. I know that game one, it kind of chalked up to Manui not flashing on the Smolder in that last fight. Similar situation here. I think pressure is going to be on Manui when there's things like Yone flying onto you, and you kind of are the big damage dealer for the team. But regardless, they played pretty cleanly throughout both games regardless, and I just am happy that we're seeing a different side of Manui and Poom when we thought that this could be a fairly one-sided lane matchup.
I know that in our discussions for most valuable prospects, Scary Jerry was getting some mentions, right? Manui was not. Manui was a player who we had kind of middle of the pack, who we have seen some growth from this split, but not necessarily the same kind of explosiveness that we would generally look at as somebody who would do well in the LCS. And the fact that Manui is turning that narrative on its head, at least for this series, is going to be helping them out quite a bit. It's part of why they have found a game already. At the same time, with the vision coming through, UG just hanging out in his own bottom side of the map. Nothing has actually happened so far, and we said UG was going to be the first main character of this game, and he hasn't been able to write any chapters.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. We passed the baton so many times. It went from UG first to, was it Manui? Manui.
Yeah, it becomes Manui.
And then after Manui, it went back over to MU, and it was Spyrax.
Spyrax and or Scary Jerry, depending on which one is able to like farm and find some kills, you know? Because they both
never let Josh
later.
write a book. It's going to be very confusing. You're not going to know who the protagonist is.
It's because the protagonist will change. And is there even really a protagonist at all?
Not in League of Legends. Most often.
Or in 40K, but either way, still looking at this, we have 15 seconds left until the first dragon actually spawns. I have not been seeing a whole lot, but the hook lands.
Nice hook, but really well timed from Poom. Just immediate snap decision to throw up that shield. Nasty's going to try and catch his wave here. Niles doing a lot of damage. Pulls him back. Doesn't quite have the damage, though. Tenacity with the body slam will heal back up.
Yeah. Got to be very careful from both sides on this in terms of how much mana you have. But Nasty will be able to get it back off here in just a moment, and will only lose maybe 1 or 2 minions off the teleport if he goes for it. At the same time, we get the trade of objectives, UG going for the grubs, whereas Perry is going to be picking up the dragon. And again, this is something that has not been super typical of Maryville games. Yes, they're happy to trade the grubs for the dragons, but oftentimes they have not needed to because of how much priority their bottom lane has had. They don't have priority right now. In fact, Scary Jerry is walking back into the lane, and only now is Maryville even looking to try and contest.
DSG are a little slow on this, though. I think Maryville might get that contest. Young is now regrouped up. Spyrax is level 6. They turn the attention onto the Karma. Not a lot of defensive tools, but we got excited. Jinx hits the reset, flashes over the Yone ult, and nobody goes down from DSG. It felt like maybe Manui could have popped off there, but it's still early game. Jinx goes to try and run away from Scary Jerry, who will not be able to catch him in time. Manui gets to the safety of the turret.
It looked good from Spyrax, but then you realize that of the people that he got with his ultimate, one of them was a monkey clone. He ends up getting the wrong monkey and the right monkey, but still not enough damage coming through, and that is going to be a dragon going over to Disguise. Now, crucially for Maryville, they didn't lose any player during that last scuffle, and that is a big difference. In the previous games, we would have expected that Maryville would have lost multiple members in these fights, but this time they're going to be doing A-okay, and the rest of the map is still holding strong. They are still slightly up in terms of farm and almost every place on the map.
And Manui had to flash and ghost right there, so when we look at a Nautilus lane, I'm always thinking, what summoner spells does the carry have? Can we punish? Yes, Braum can help keep the Jinx alive, but not for infinite amount of time. So you got to play respectfully, and the wave's in a really rough spot for Manui and Poom right now. So they're going to be struggling for the next probably 30 seconds to a minute here, unless they can get that wave to crash.
Yeah. Also worth noting, Yuji down here on the bottom side does
yeah,
not have a lot of mana.
Let's go. Yeah, Spyrax.
Double
You take
Spyrax.
that 1v2.
Damn. 2v4, just
Ooh,
Spyrax with bottom lane.
Okay, well, I guess we got first blood. Right as I was saying it, no summoner spell for Manui, and he gets punished. The wave was in a bad spot, and MU cash in.
Great stuff coming out from Yuji. He did not have a lot of mana, but apparently he had enough to find the play on the bottom side. Main character is going to remain Yuji for a little bit longer than we might have initially expected because he got these plays to happen. There he is. He comes right on down, and like you said, not a lot you can really do. The double seismic shove, at this point, it just becomes a matter of who actually gets the kill. Looks like Yuji's like, please, I need this. I'm doing something.
Yeah, I'm helping, team. Yeah, there we go. As Poom will fall. I mean, I think that's just the... oh, wow. We were really dwelling on that one. I think that was just perfect timing from Yuji, all things considered. We talked about the implications of the previous play with the Jinx not having summoner spells. What I didn't realize at that time was how bad the wave bot lane was. And I know that it's tough in the moment to know, what the communications sound like. But at that point, you got to cover that Jinx lane if you're a jungler because they got to get that wave in. Otherwise, that's going to happen pretty much every time.
Yeah, I also want to point out one of the important things we are seeing is that it has been the same player who is unfortunately having continued connection issues in the Disguised Jungler parry, which feels really bad, right? Whenever you are in a situation where you are losing out on your momentum because you don't have confidence in your own network, it's not about your play. It is really, really tough, especially when one of your primary voices starts losing connection. When your primary voice shuts down, it becomes so much more difficult to play. So we gotta hope that the experience and the confidence coming through from the rest of Disguise is enough to get them through this because it is starting to show some cracks around the edges.
And we know how scary it can be when Scary Jerry Zyko lane gets ahead. This is them getting ahead. This time it's with the help of the jungler. Oftentimes we've seen them be able to do this on their own in the 2v2, but Yuji being down there at the right place at the right time and shutting down Manui and Poom, or I guess not even shutting down, just slowing them down, putting them behind, means that we're actually going to see what the expectation kind of was coming into the series, which is Scary Jerry Zyko with that lead.
Yeah, and we will get to see what will happen, right? Even though Scary Jerry has not played Zeri this split, we have seen him do it in previous splits, especially in 2023 when the character was absolutely bonkers. We got to see Scary Jerry play this all the time. Now, admittedly, he is a much better player than he was at that point. We did not see a whole lot of Scary Jerry having success in the Tier 2. It was mostly in the collegiate space where we still saw him having a lot of success. But it looks like connection issues have at least temporarily been resolved. We'll be able to get back on into the game with a pretty important lead already building up for Yuji.
Cross your fingers, everybody in Twitch chat. Do we have a Twitch chat spam for like a Prage that no more internet issues?
I don't know. I actually don't know what all of our emotes are.
Movie to make us one,
Yeah,
that'll be on
very
the docket
specific.
for next time. If we don't have one, we should have one. Anybody who's got any recommendations in Twitch chat, throw it in there. Let's get some some energy going our way. As a Hex Flash, I believe, from Zyko right there. And Young actually keeps walking forward because you got Poom behind you. Winter's Bite lands. We tag the Nautilus, and he's going to go down. I love that look from Young. Just walked directly past Spyrax, says, I don't care about you. I got the team behind me.
Yeah, that was a really hard read from Zyko in the direction that he actually threw out his Q. Not rewarded for it at all, and Spyrax just sits there and is like, yep, I think you're dead on this one, buddy. Sorry about that one. And Zyko's like, yeah. So he's going to go back towards the bot lane. It is going to be a kill going over towards Young, who is unfortunately never likely to be a main character in this book, right? He will always be a supporting character because he is playing this Karma. He would need to get like 2 or 3 more kills before we really start looking at that power that he will bring to a lot of this game. But he will be able to help out Harry a little bit, who is still trying to find his first play.
So what do we think Karma is in a book character then? If you're not the main character, is this like the supportive best friend? Is this like the elder that teaches you all the cool moves? I'm trying to think about the supporting characters. I don't read a lot of books. I know that might surprise you.
No, I'm just thinking like in terms of Kung Fu Panda. Like,
okay. Yep. I'm not following, but yep.
I'm not following, but I'm trying to think of like what Kung Fu
You're the one
Panda
thinking
characters mean. I don't do a lot of that either, let's be real.
Yeah, fair enough. DSG toy around with the idea of fighting Spyrax, but it's all just to rotate up and go for these grubbies. It was UG that got the first 3. If they can get at least one of these, they will deny those much-loved Twitch chatters popping up. Oh, actually, let's do that poll now. We got time, I believe. Let's throw up another poll here, because we didn't get the answer last time around. Spyrax is fighting Young and Poom right now with Yuji in his back pocket, but Winter's Bite not going to be quite enough, and he even dodges the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Yeah, Perry will also be getting these grubs that will be stopping. Nobody is going to be getting the Twitch chatters or the Patreon subscribers, and this one is going to be a fair game. Sorry to everyone on both sides, but at the same time, with so much commitment towards the top side of the map, Scary Jerry is rapidly looking to become more important faster than people might have expected.
Yeah, Scary Jerry looking to bury that bot lane turret, as it's 3 plates now for this area. And Dragon spawning in 6 seconds. We got a dive prepped. Poom.
Time to harry Poom.
Back up with Manui. That's Ignite down. Zyko takes 3 turret shots right there, and MU cannot dive the lonely level 5 Braum.
Nah, that would have been tough, especially if you don't know exactly what level he is. Here we go.
He's in trouble here. Has the backup of Zyko, but the dredge line misses. Now this is perfect fight for Manui. Gets excited on the Jinx. Has the shutdown, double kill to Perry, and DSG make quick work of MU in the river.
And coming at the perfect time around another dragon, this very quickly starts putting up Manui closer to being the main character for a while. Getting some of those assists and getting that much needed gold at the right time neutralizes a lot of the power that Scary Jerry had already built up. But Maryville ends up getting caught. A great trap being laid by Perry, ends up getting them a couple of kills and their second dragon of the game.
Well done to DSG. They're behind a little bit of gold, but they feel like they're in the driver's seat. They feel more confident going for these plays. And pretty soon we'll know what their fans want to be called. Are they Twitch chatters or all their Patreon subscribers? Or are they both? Because the poll is up, so make sure that you vote on that right now, everybody. I love that we just have this power. Do you think we can do this for anything, Josh? Like just anything we want to poll for?
That's a very good question.
What's
Twitch
the best
chat, what do you think?
Can we
get another poll for Twitch chat? Do you think that we should have the power to do whatever poll we want? We'll get back to that as we get this dive.
Do we think Manui lives this? I'm going to say probably not. No? And look at that. Wow. Yuji picks up the kill. 4 players on 1. Not a fair fight in the bot lane.
Not a fair fight, but Niles already committing down to the bottom side. It should be the first turret going over. Is Spyrax going to be all right? But still, lots of play back and forth, top and bottom, but Maryville already up 2,000 gold, and so much of that is going to Scary Jerry and Yuji, who are major players in this one so far. And Tenacity, yes, he's getting gold because he's up in CS and also getting 3 plates to himself, but he's going to be most likely a supporting character in this one as well. This will be Tenacity as doing his best Tigers impression. From the Kung Fu Panda.
From Kung Fu Panda.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, I love that you just picked that movie.
Yeah.
Topical. They're coming out with a new one, I suppose.
Yeah. Apparently it's already out.
I'm hearing from Kai, our incredible observer. Apparently I'm behind on the times.
That's okay. I still haven't seen Dune 2. I'm actually doing that tomorrow. So, you know, when I see that, we'll start talking about the Lisan Al-Gaib, and that might be Tenacity.
And their engage comes through, but they're getting right on to Perry. Doesn't have a big health bar. He might just go down. Spyrax picks up the kill as now they look for even more onto Tenacity. Jumps away, has the flash available. And with the help of Manui and Poom, will get out to safety. But MU, for right now, find themselves in a very advantageous jungle position. They can even look for more here onto Tenacity.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here, they'll get at least 1 play here in the top lane. Going over to Spyrax, he got his first kill of the game. He is rapidly looking to become a powerful player later on. Tenacity going to be missing out on the rest of that wave. But we have 2.5 minutes left until the next one. And Twitch chat.
We got Twitch chatters. All right, there we go.
Not
only 3% of people said Patreon subscribers solo.
Surprise. I guess that just means the disguised our, Patreon needs to go stronger.
Well, you know what that means. You know what that means. I think there was a lot of non-Patreon subscribers voting for that poll, Josh. We didn't really factor that into the equation.
Yeah, if you were a Maryville person, we're going to take away your vote for that one.
Okay, new poll. Yeah. Were you a Patreon subscriber when you voted on? Okay, you know what? Let's actually talk about the game. Herald is still there. We haven't picked it up yet. Spyrax will get the kill, and there we go. We finally grabbed it.
It's going to go over to Spikes as well. He is the Lisan Al-Gaib, and it is already looking really tough right now for Disguise. We were saying that Spikes would take over this game, but we said it would be later when 2-3 items are completed on Spyrax, but he is already getting 2 kills early on. He's going to get more money potentially, dropping this Herald up in the top side, all for himself. And that just means that Maryville is already looking at an opportunity to try and close this one relatively quickly. They also have the ability to rotate incredibly quickly with the Hex Gates already coming through. It feels as though Maryville is setting themselves up for a lot of success.
Yeah, Spyrax was telling Young in the early laning phase, nah, I'm not going to raise up an army and overthrow you. And here we are. A couple minutes later, Spyrax ready to take over this game, take over this Rift. And with a sizable gold lead for the whole team, but a lot of that being on Spyrax in particular. Minute till the next Dragon. Let's see if they're able to stop the stacking, because that's a big thing that DSG still have in their pocket, is that they could stack towards the Hexel, which is very impactful. And DSG are actually catching out Spyrax right now. Doesn't have the team behind him, but he is able to Fate Seal to safety. Gets out of there just fine.
Really good stuff. I love the fact that he uses the Soul Unbound as long as possible to get all the stacks for Q3 and then ult after being on the other side of Poom. Great play. And now Yuji jump.
Now re-engage from MU. They're a little split on it though. Yuji was not expecting the damage from Perry, but the depth charge is enough to save his life. Now Zyko might go down, will fall at the very end here, but it buys time for everybody else to join in. Niles gets onto Young and Spyrax gets the kill.
Oh my gosh, Spyrax getting so many kills, now looking to fight Tenacity.
Okay, body slam still landed. Spyrax will get to safety here, but will
turret.
His turret live? Oh, it goes down to the final autos from the minion, and now here comes Tenacity. Flash auto for a big ol' shutdown.
Huge play coming through from Nasty. That is a big shutdown and a turret, but Manui.
Nice flash very early to make sure that the all-out cannot carry him away from the turret.
An absolutely crazy game, though. The Dragon has been started at the same time. Niles takes half his HP bar in order to go for that fight, and Maryville, they're in control. Harry tries to do the funny thing. You can smite while you're in that, but it's not going to be enough.
Not in time, and that means the Dragon is secured for Maryville. The stacking has been denied, and that is good news for the collegiate squad. They're up in gold. Even if Spyrax went down, he still has a lot that he's working with, and now they don't have to worry about a soul point fight anytime soon.
Yeah, and importantly, Manui is looking like he might never get his character arc. Yuji by Perry.
Dredge line a little late, but Perry very low. He's going to get ticked down. Reaver's Wall coming through here. Young has the shield. Perry will live for right now, but not for long enough. There we go. They got him. Scary Jerry with the kill credit.
Even though it didn't work, Perry sitting still right there. It might have been my favorite play so far of the game, where he just like, oh, yep, it's not actually me. This was cool. I also really like this, right? Spyrax using that, get over on the other side of Poom.
He rides the sandworm to safety, you know?
Exactly. There we go. He will know your ways, even though he does not know them. And now Maryville, this rest part of it suddenly becomes very, very chaotic, right? The fact that Yuji lives from this is just a testament to how strong Spyrax is and how much trust they have in each other to make sure they can get everybody possible out of that fight. The fact that they don't get more than this is a bit surprising to me, but it is still a plenty strong play coming through from Maryville. They have 3,500 gold lead. They had a couple of stumbling blocks early, but just like we saw in game 1, Maryville moves past it just as quickly.
But if you're Spyrax in that moment, after the play, he had a very clear avenue. He could have just walked up through the tri-brush and saved the turret instead of walking up into Tenacity. So he got a little punished for it. If you are the main character, you got to play like the main character. Don't give up your life. You will matter quite a lot to the win condition. And Tenacity, you said he'd be supporting, but building full AP, he actually can be in one-shot territory for a lot of these champions. You got to respect the AP Gragas.
For sure, and the biggest person he's going to be a threat to is going to be Scary Jerry, who is, you know, building pretty normal stuff here for this area, but he can look for an assassination. Instead, just got to get on out of that one. We don't have any objectives to play for right away, especially with the Baron spawning in about a minute. The only thing we really have is Spyrax is going to be dropping the Rift Herald, and this will be an opportunity. Is he going to ride this one as well, or is this Worm going to just do its own thing? Oh,
ooh, why ride the worm when he can instead chunk out the enemy jungler? That was Yuji's game plan. But they don't get the turret because of that, because they weren't able to time it with the wave crashing. Maybe they can get the turret here. Scary Jerry can walk up, but the Jinx traps will actually make it kind of hard. Good damage on Tenacity, but for now, DSG will hold on to that mid turret.
But they won't hold on to the top turret. That's where Spyrex has been this entire time. That will be the top lane. Should Kangas and Joshi have the power to ask for every pull? 42% says, please don't. Well, I feel like there's too many no options here.
Yeah, I was going to say there's only one yes option, 3 no options. Also, Twitch chat, I think this is probably a revenge for you saying that they all look like the Void Mites. So I'm just going to throw that out there as well.
Yeah, I'll accept it. Young? All right.
Okay, he's fine. Checks the brush. Would have been in trouble if he just walked into that, but is wise to the fact that he was not safe.
Yeah. Now, this is a bit interesting, right? Because I feel as though this game has slowed down a lot, but it's also been one of our crazier ones, right? We didn't see the normal Maryville, oh, we're going to invade your jungle from minute 3 to minute 8 over and over again, right? Instead, we saw a couple of plays around the dragons. After that, it's become a Spyrex show, and that's something we actually haven't seen a lot so far throughout the course of the season. We've been seeing that Spyrex has had good laning phases, yes. He's been getting a lot of solo kills, yes. But what we haven't oftentimes been seeing is the same kind of taking matters into your own hands, and I feel as though this is because Spyrex is like, guys, there's no way we're going to lose this series, right? Okay, I got it, don't you worry. I'm going to put everyone in my pocket, and we'll be able to take it from here.
Yeah. I want to just point out something because we keep looking at Scary Jerry. He literally just walked up and blind control worded that brush. No fear. No fear. Shout out to that happening. Also interesting build here on the Zeri. Goes for the full wave clear build. Full just like spread damage kind of AoE build, in fact. And do you think that we're going to get some kind of like Titanic Hydra or something in the Zeri? I know that way back in the day that was something that you would build.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still a good thing that you can still go on the Zeri, but the big thing right now, we do got to be careful as Spyrex is potentially getting collapsed upon. Now, this is where the game kind of slows down a lot, Steve, and the big reason for that is because you don't have a very obvious thing to attack. The one thing we do have is dragon spawning in 10 seconds, but neither side is set up to actually go for it. And that usually results in Maryville getting dragons against most teams. This guy's has done a pretty good job on fighting back in a lot of these spots.
I'd say right now I'd favor Maryville if they wanted it, but everyone's positioned topside, and UG's starting it up. Very odd gameplay right now because MU did not feel like the team was ready for this, but luckily DSG were not ready either. They're not even going to check it, so Dragon is secured. There's a little window there. If DSG were ready to pull the trigger, they actually could have forced MU off of that, but obviously they can't know that. We know that, as we are the casters with all the vision. But that is now 2 dragons apiece to each team. And I'm worried DSG have kind of gotten stalled out right now. Spyrex has the lead. He's just going to keep scaling up, getting towards that 3rd item when you expected him to come online, as he didn't clear out that ward quite in time.
Yeah, Spyrex, for shame.
Get him! Yeah!
Yeah. This is generally... So this is supposed to be the part of the book where Minui is, like, become the prince that was promised, right? But he is only now hitting 2 items. We were hoping that was going to happen about 2 minutes ago. And Minui now is very reliant on other members of the team setting him up. And this is where Tenacity, who I generally would call it be like the Lancer, you know, in terms of TV tropes. Go ahead and look that one up. The not quite a villain, but not quite a good guy either. It's a good time. This is when Tenacity really comes through and says, I was actually your friend all along, gets the first kill so that Minui can pop off and be the hero that he was always meant to be.
True. You call him the Prince of His Promise, so I just want to shout out that in that particular story, kind of ended poorly.
Yeah, that's because it was not a George R.R. Martin finish.
True.
Either way.
Leave us waiting. We got DSG on the Baron this time around. Okay, well, are we just starting it up, or are we going to bait them into a fight? It looks like we want to take the fight. Get onto Zyko. Flash used. Haven't taken him down quite yet. Poom almost falls, and he does.
He does.
So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Minui gets the reset, but is actually retreating with it. And MU, they're still happy with that. They say, sure, well, we got their support for our support. They had to use teleport, but they do prevent any Baron shenanigans.
And crucially, I'm pretty sure Minui never actually got excited. I think that was just his ghost because it took too long before the damage actually took down Zyko. And Maryville, they're starting this one up. They do it very, very quickly.
No Zeri ult, but they do have Spyrex, Fate sealed. So if they're going to look for something, it'd probably be off of the Yone. He has to jump back. Young is all alone. The team's going to have to back him up. Little split focus right now, but if we can free fire onto Niles, we can eventually kill him. And he does have 2 items, and he is doing the damage he needs to do. All-out use, but it doesn't carry him very far. Niles is going to go down. That is the resets for Jinx. It's Tenacity with a kill credit, but it's Manui that can clean up the fight now as Poom gets in onto Yuji. That's a shutdown, as well as a kill onto Spyrax. DSG run away with the fight. They might even get the clean ace. Tenacity does not want to give Scary Jerry the back. Flash away from the Zeri. Tenacity's chasing it down. Can he get him? Pop it down. That's an ace.
Oh my gosh, Manui comes alive at the crucial moment, starts going nuts in that last fight. Tenacity, he's the one who gets a ton of kills, but Maryville uncharacteristically all over the place in that last fight, and their gold lead has been reduced by a massive amount. The Rally Cry variant buff now in the hands of Disguise. We'll just take another look at this. It starts off as a 4v4 with both of the supports coming through, but look at this split call from Maryville. Yuji is like, do we fight this? Niles says, absolutely, but all of the ultimates have already been used, and Niles says, we're going to go forward, but nobody can help him at all. And by the time he ends up dying, Scary Jerry not able to get a whole lot done either, and Yuji, with his seismic shove, knocks people towards him. That is the worst possible direction for them to go.
I'm just going to say it. In my mind, Tenacity hard carried that fight. That explosive cast, knocking everybody away. Weaver's wall plus Niles jumping in felt like, okay, this is MU's fight. But then everybody gets knocked away because Tenacity presses the R button, even gets 2 kills for the play. I think well earned for Tenacity right there, who is now 4-item Gragas. That's a Gragas with a wizard cap.
Oh yeah, he's going to be doing a ton of damage. That puts a lot of pressure onto Scary Jerry as well. Spyrax has not necessarily been living quite up, and we are fully in Manui's character arc. 40 seconds till the dragon spawns. Both of them are at 2 apiece. This one could be given up by either side, but neither side wants to.
Oh, we're just committing immediately here on the Spyrax fate.
Nice.
No, it doesn't! Because that's a nuclear explosion dropping down on top of you. AP Gragas is no joke, and he will get another kill.
In Disguise, we are very firmly in upset territory now. 1,000 gold. They're going to expand it with this. They can go back towards the dragon at the same time, but this is also a perfect opportunity for them to open up the base of Maryville.
Okay, MU are taking a 4-champ defense mid lane, but they're losing everything bot lane for that. Niles will prevent them from pushing on the inhibitor, but that is 2 turrets claimed for DSG. And they are on the precipice here of a pretty massive upset. Maryville were looking like the, if not the top dog coming into this tournament. And DSG struggled the entire spring split until the last 3 series. They strung a couple of wins together, but it was against the bottom 3 teams. We weren't sure where to place them going into this playoffs. And they are one good team fight away from taking their first series in playoffs for spring split.
They are looking so good. They're playing so well throughout these early games. They found advantages in almost every single one, and now all they need to do is they need to continue doing what they've been doing. Tenacity has been looking fantastic, and Perry potentially going to find Eugene?
He wants to go for the... Oh, doesn't get over the wall. And now Perry could be in trouble. Weaver's wall doesn't land on the right side, but his fate's been sealed. Yuji picks up the kill.
Oh no, that is such a big tempo swing, and now, who's that? That is Niles, potentially looking for someone. They don't have vision on anyone, though. He doesn't know what direction to go.
Okay, if they had known where Tenacity was, I think they can collapse and probably kill the Gragas, but it won't mean too much. DSG just slows down tempo like you had said. They won't get anything more done right now at the current map state, but it's not enough for MU to dig their way out of this. They're still behind in gold, and that dragon in 4 minutes time seems like it's going to be the big fight. Maybe even the Baron ahead of time. Tenacity stuck around. This is a little ambitious, man. Niles and Spyrax. He might just kill Spyrax, though. Wait a minute. No way. Tenacity!
Shield?
Is he him? I think we got our answer. Not going to get the kill on a Spyrax, but there's no way Niles is taking this 1v1. A lot of other people are coming up, though. Look at Tenacity. He's in a 1v3 situation and still making it work for it. He might just kill Scary Jerry. Are you kidding me? Doesn't have the ultimate available. That's a shutdown. How close was that, though?
Oh my gosh, Tenacity in a 1v4, almost finding 2 separate kills. He's level 18, takes so many people to take him down. But still,
Wow.
Maryville are able to do it, and that buys even more time for them. We have another Baron spawning in a minute and a half and 3 minutes until the next dragon. We were looking at the time where Manui's character arc was supposed to be the dominant part of this game, but now we might have bought enough time for Scary Jerry and Spyrex to start taking over the rest of it. They took down the big boss. The best friend has died. Can he come back?
I mean, at this point, we got to make an entirely new character name for Tenacity. I'm just going to call him The Problem, because that's what he is for Maryville. If they can't deal with him in that kind of situation, what's going to happen when the team fights start breaking out? Yeah, Manui is not this super powerful Jinx, but you got 3 items. And if Gragas can just set you up for the resets, Manui is then poised to get Jinx excited and just kind of run through everybody else in the team fights. Yeah. I don't think MU have very good chances from this point forward. We got 50 seconds until the Baron, and everyone's going back to try and spend all the gold. MU currently have the inside track to get some early vision down to the objective.
And the gold is very even between the 2 teams, so you also have to note that Tenacity up 6,000 gold over Niles. But at the same time, we see that Scary Jerry has 3,000 over Manui as well. And across the rest of the board, Maryville is up a little bit, so almost all of the problems that we currently see is currently into. Oh my god, no.
Oh, a pick on a Young's huge!
No, not like this!
That is a bad time to die.
This is just like how we were seeing from 100 Thieves, FlyQuest and Team Liquid earlier today. Every single time, it would be the mid laner who got caught, and then the other team would get Baron. Maryville looking to recreate some of Team Liquid's earlier success today, and now we'll see, can this guys maintain a play here?
We're still going for it. Perry does not get the overhead smite steal. He's in a really rough spot now as DSG are going to try and keep them off of the Baron. MU are right back on top of it. They know that Perry's not nearby. The Weaver's Wall will prevent the approach. Spire's trying to keep him away from there. Baron is secure. Now, can they take the fight afterwards? Manui's trying to get the damage in. Nobody's gone down yet. Spirex is actually pretty low, and he will die. Manui gets excited. Can DSG just take the fight regardless? Sacrifice Niles. That seems to be the name of the game for Maryville. Can try and teleport out of there. Will get CC'd, preventing that from happening. So Baron on 3, but they lose 2 for it.
The Rally Cry Baron buff, it'll end up not giving him a whole lot of gold. We have 30 seconds left until the dragon spawns. That will be DSG's Hex Tech Soul. You'll take that every time over Baron on 3 with no ability to push. We'll get to see the rest of this again, but so much time is bought, and Spyrex just takes so much chip damage over and over from Perry and Tenacity, but when they actually go in, it looks like they almost kill him, right? Tenacity goes in, does a ton of damage to Spyrex, and the second time he goes in, the ultimate barely misses out, but then this barrel and the zap turns everything around.
Oh my goodness. Tenacity is playing this game so freaking well, man. And they are right onto the map. They will get the Dragon Soul. They didn't need the Baron. MU are going to have to get a lot done with the 3 members that have the buff, and they're already on the top side, so some gold to Scary Jerry, but I don't think they can get the whole turret in time. Yeah, there we go. Tenacity throws out the ultimate, so Dragon Soul for DSG, and still backs against the walls for Maryville University. The gold is close, but with that Dragon Soul, that's a lot of stats that DSG are packing.
A lot of stats, a lot of attack speed, a lot of slow is going to be going right out across all the members of Maryville. It is so hard to fight into the Hex Tech Soul. And Spyrex and Scary Jerry have not taken over from Manui so far. The fact that Manui can still get excited with 3, almost 4 items completed means he is always a credible threat. He's supposed to be attackable, right, from Spyrex, but Spyrex, ever since his early kills in the game, has not found another one. He started 3-1, he's now 3-4, trying to link up with Yuji to take down the big boss, but it's going to take a lot of effort for them to try and take down Tenacity.
One ultimate from Tenacity. Does about a quarter of Yuji's health bar. Dodges out on the Super Mega Death Rocket. And now he gets knocked up by the Bramble.
Spyrex!
Winter's Bite, but that's a massive fate seal from Spyrex. Keeping the jungler alive. Doesn't do as much damage to Tenacity as they wanted. Now Perry's getting onto the backline. Perry with the engage. Can DSG do it right here, right now? Manui just free firing. But now he goes down. Manui with too far forward, and Scary Jerry sees the opportunity. Zeri shuts down the Jinx, and MU can now run through the fight.
They get a couple of kills, they get a dragon, they lose Niles for it, but what else can they find? Sparx leading the charge, Tenacio's ult is coming back up.
Big explosive cask hits the wave. There's still one cannon minion. MU don't get enough done with that. DSG are still alive, and Manui didn't burn Flash there, so if it comes down to another fight, DSG will have more, but let's get another look at this, because this could have been the game.
Yeah, it looks really good, but remember, Tenacity used the ult relatively early. That's a lot of damage going across the rest of the team, and then it becomes about the 280 carries. Scary Jerry and Manui both able to entirely free fire, but Spyrex finds his next angle, finally interrupts the damage that Manui is doing, and between Spyrex and Jerry, able to find the kill, and that is the difference. Disguise no longer have the damage once Manui is gone.
What a close fight. Perry kind of lost track of Scary Jerry there. He was looking only a Yuji, basically, because that was the lowest member. But Spyrex played incredibly well. If that exhaust from Poom didn't hit him during the Fade Sealed, I think that might have been game for MU. That would have done so much damage. Now we're going to get another fight here,
nice.
and maybe onto Zyko. Good dredge line, buffering the explosive cast. Now we're throwing the engage at Poom. It's just the Braum. He's got the shield up. Throws out the Glacial Fissure. Taking a lot of damage. Perry jumps in, jumps back out. Niles in trouble, but here comes Spyrex onto the back line. Fade Sealed. Big damage, no exhaust that time around, but it wasn't enough. That's Scary Jerry slowed. They got him! Guardian Angel used, but that should be a dead AD carry if DSG can just use their abilities correctly. There we go, shut down for Tenacity. Give him a triple kill! DSG! We counted them out, but it was too soon. They showed up here versus Maryville University, and with two members up, they're going to have to make a miracle defense at the base.
A crazy fight. It looked like they got it to Manui, but they had the tools to keep him alive, and Scary Jerry died. Now Disguise one fight away. They just need to take down Yuji. They need to take down Niles, and they will be the biggest upset that we have seen in a huge amount of time.
The defending champs from summer 2023. Only one player is returning from that roster, but they're looking to make another run here in spring 2024. DSG against the second seed Maryville. They fought their way tooth and nail to get to this point, and they'll make the upset happen.
Oh my god, Tenacity, an absolute baller in this last game. We asked if he could be that guy during the regular season. He was not, but in this last game, when push comes to shove, he is ready to go. And we're going to take another look at that last fight in just a moment. And it looks so close to Spyrex once again turning around the play, finding his way to Manui. He finds the ultimate. But immediately after that, it is all about how they're able to take down Scary Jerry. As the ultimate comes through, here it is. They get to Manui, but there is no follow-up. Instead, it is all about Tenacity finding the body slam, and he does 2/3 of the HP instantly. There is no play. He instantly dies. The triple kill comes through as Tenacity finds every single member on this half.
These barrels from Tenacity are a thing of beauty. I mean, right as Scary Jerry jumps in, he's already jumping to where the barrel's going, instantly slowed and realizes, I don't have Ghost, I don't have Flash, I don't have anything to get out of this one. What a crazy end to the series. DSG take it. They make the upset happen. We're going to send it to a short break before we get back one of the members of the team to chat about their victory. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our post-series interview. We have the victorious jungler, Perry, joining us from DSG. Congratulations, Perry. And I want to start off, what does it mean to you to pick up this win in your first round of playoffs after how rough the beginning of the spring split looked for DSG?
Well, it was, it's a good feeling to know that, playoffs is what, we build for. You work on everything as a team to get to playoffs and to, start to win then. Regular season, as long as you don't make it bottom two, you're chilling. So it's a good feeling, yeah.
Yeah. We know expectations for your team were not particularly high going into the playoffs based on what we were seeing during the regular season, but when we talked to your coach in Narrow during an interview last week, he said that you guys had solved some of your major problems. Are you able to give us more insight into what changed between the regular season and this playoffs to help you guys find this win?
I mean, things started clicking. I think we're a lot less kill hungry, everyone. We also just play together a little bit better. And I think, coming into the split, we actually had, too much expectation of what our roster could be. We all thought we were good players. I feel like people thought we would, overperform and succeed. But I think that also could mess with your own performance sometimes. So, yeah.
Well, talking about getting kills, I want to bring up something that I mentioned on cast. I want to give you a chance to defend yourself. We started this interview before we went live. We let you know you have the second highest average deaths per game in the league. I want to give you the chance to defend yourself because obviously a lot of that was from the first half of the split. What have you personally been working on to, keep more uptime on the map, make sure that the team's set up for success?
I mean, at least I'm not the most stats. I don't know who that is, but
True.
At least I'm not the most.
I could get that for you right now. I'll let you know after your answer.
Dying is it's when you have that many deaths, there's no real excuse. I can't defend myself. I'm just killing myself a lot. Honestly, this regular season, I haven't been as focused. There's a lot of other things I'm working on. So it's just once I sort of saw what I'm working towards and recentering myself, hey, I'm working on how to get better, fundamentals, I want to make sure playoffs are actually worth my time because I sort of felt things just weren't worth my time and it wasn't going my way. So instead of just stepping it up and things feel better. Yeah.
Cool. Also, it's Winnie. Winnie has the most.
Yeah,
deaths,
the junglers. The junglers unite. So.
Nice. Now, lastly, with this big win coming through, we obviously still have you in the upper bracket. Firstly, I am curious who you want to still play in this, and secondly, do you have a prediction for our next match, which is going to be Team Liquid versus Supernova?
Personally, I'm down to rematch Fear. I would enjoy playing them. Their old previous team, I have a lot of friends on that team too. And for the next match, I think either side can win it. And I have more friends on Supernova, but Team Liquid, I feel like they've scaled a bit. But I am my heart is rooting for Supernova. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, chatting with us, Perry. Any final shout-outs you want to give to anybody watching?
Of course, the man Toast. He's the one who's making all this possible. My girlfriend, my family, everyone out there. I've been posting a lot of content and, I've been getting a lot of support. So just the community who's here watching me, I appreciate you guys.
Is there any patrons that you should be pumping for?
Oh, I mean, both on DSG's Patreons, but also my own Patreons. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I love it. Also, wait, we got Perry here. Let's just ask him, Josh, because Twitch chat wasn't on board. What should we call the Void Mites? Are they Twitch chatters, or are they Patreon subscribers, or are they both?
To me, they're more like Twitch chatters because Patreon members, they don't die as quick. They last. But those Void Mites, they kind of they go quick.
Twitch chatters aren't loyal, is what you're telling me, Yeah.
They also
we have respect for our Patreon subscribers,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly right.
All right, well, thank you for your input and your insight, Barry. Best of luck going forward in preparation. Congratulations one more time on the win. We're going to send it to a short break, and we'll be right back after this.
See you guys later.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious footlong cookie, footlong pretzel, or footlong churro.
We're the LCS Challengers League. We're the future of the LCS.
We're Challengers League. We change our name and format every 2 years. What about the next one gonna be?
We're Challengers League. Of course we play Best of 3s and Fearless Draft.
We're Challengers League. Of course we have pauses too, but ours are fire alarms.
We're Challengers League. Who should actually wins here?
We're Challengers League. We play every single weekend, even if LCS takes it off.
We're Challengers League. Our Twitch stream has a sub button.
We're Challengers League. FlyQuest, also #1 right now.
We're Challengers League, and we're taking over the Riot Games Arena.